Have you ever as have you ever hesitated to post something because you were worried about what people were going to think or say, or maybe you even downplayed your wins because you didn't want to seem like you were bragging? You're not alone. For so many of us mompreneurs, the biggest fear isn't failure most of the time. It's about being seen. In today's episode, we're going to tackle the imposter mindset head on. So, what does it look like? Why it shows up? And how to stop hiding behind your business. Because the truth is, you are the brand. We've talked about it, and you are a walking brand. And it's time that you let your light shine and be seen unapologetically. And we're going to break this all down when we return. Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Making of a Mompreneur show. Today's title of our show is No More Imposters, Facing the Fear of Being Seen. I am your host, Rasheeda Green, the CEO and founder of Get Coaching, the host of this wonderful Mompreneur HQ community, and the creator of the Digimompreneur Academy. And I'm so glad that you are with us today. If you are joining us live, go ahead and put hashtag live. And if you are joining us via replay, hashtag replay. We still love you, right? And let us know where you're tuning in from. So hashtag live New Jersey, whichever state you're viewing from or country that you're viewing from. We'd like to know how big, far, and vast the community is on the Mompreneur HQ. Now, if you happen to have caught last week's episode, and if you did it, go on back, go on back. It should be on YouTube already. Okay. But if you haven't, our episode called Celebrity Sightings and Lookalikes, we talked about how to use the power of patterns and systems like Facebook lookalike audiences or ChatGPT to replicate what works in your business. But today we're going just a little bit deeper because while it's great to use data and tools to mirror success, what happens when you start feeling like a mirror instead of the main event? When you start comparing yourself so much that you begin to question if you even belong in the room. That's what we're talking about today. How to stop feeling like an imposter in your own business and face the fear of being seen, because this is the season to show up. Absolutely Q4, okay? Shine bright and own your brilliance without apology, without comparison, and definitely without fear. So, if you have your pen, paper, or digital device ready, make sure you drop a hashtag ready in the comments so that we know that you are ready to write down these nuggets. And if you glean anything from this episode that you want to share in the comments, go ahead and put hashtag nugget and tell us what it is that you want to share or what resonates with you. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube so that all of these platforms can get this algorithm straight to recognize that there are people who are watching this show and who want to be notified when a new episode drops. All right. Without further ado, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about what imposter syndrome really looks like. And let's get real. Imposter syndrome doesn't always show up waving a flag. Sometimes it might look like over preparing for every little thing because you're afraid to make a mistake, quote unquote, perfectionism. All right. Shrinking back from opportunities because you think you're not ready yet. Again, shrinking, not putting yourself, not believing yourself, doubting yourself. And then you have this discounting your prices or downplaying your experience, right? It's, oh, I'm only going to charge $7 for this, or, oh, I'm going to just give away a whole bunch of free education, or I've just started out. So, I really can't charge the big bucks. Or even worse, waiting for someone else to validate that you're good enough. I've been there. I remember coaching clients to their breakthroughs while secretly, like on a low key, questioning if I was doing enough in my own business. Isn't that crazy? You can be winning and still feel like you're faking it. And I used to say, hey, fake it till you make it, because practice makes perfect, right? Just keep doing it until you get it. And so I didn't think of it as a negative thing. I didn't think of it as imposter syndrome. I just thought about it as, hey, you just keep doing what you're doing until you get it right and get it to the place where you want it, but don't not do it because you're scared. And the truth is, imposter syndrome, it really feeds on silence. It grows in isolation, in self-doubt. And that's why one of the first steps to facing this fear is naming it. Because when you call it out, it loses power, literally. So call out that fear. We say, oh, it's fear of failure. It's fear of being seen. It's fear of being called out or singled out. It's fear of bringing too much attention to ourselves. And then it's that fear that we may not be good enough. And so we don't want people to point out that we may not be good enough. So we just don't get out there. Man, I rolled through that whole scenario when my business coach told me to start a Facebook group. I was like, no. I started the Facebook group. Then she said, okay, you got to go live. I said, no. But I eventually went live. And OMG, it's been about 4 years, just about, that I've been going live in this community. You can have a fear and still work your way through it. So let's talk about it. The fear of being seen. What that equates to is the fear of visibility. Now, for mompreneurs, I find it to be layered, because showing up doesn't just mean promoting your business. It means allowing people to see you, right? The mom, the woman, the dreamer, the doer, the sometimes tired but still trying to entrepreneur. And that's me a lot of days. And that really can be scary. We fear judgment. What if I say the wrong thing? Sometimes we even fear that comment section. Come on, okay? People really will drag you if you say the wrong thing. Now, you can have your own truth and you can have the ways that you do things, but if it's not the way they do it, all of a sudden you're the worst person in the world. And so we have that fear. We have the fear of imperfection. What if my video isn't polished enough? What if all of the captions aren't spelled correctly? We really do have that fear in the back of our heads. And then we also have the fear of exposure. What if I finally show up online and people don't respond? I hear crickets. Here's what I've learned. When you hide, you rob the people who need you to show up the opportunity to find you. God didn't give you your gifts to keep them under wraps. Remember Matthews 5 and 14. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Come on now, somebody. Come on. You have gifts that cannot be hidden, no matter how much you try. God is going to send somebody somewhere to recognize the gift that you keep trying to hide and then to pull it on out of you. They're going to somehow mysteriously ask you to do something that you didn't know that they knew you knew how to do, right? This is how God works. But every time you show up, even when your voice shakes, you're practicing courage. And courage is a muscle, it grows with use. Okay. You got to keep using it, keep using it. And then you will see that you are braver and stronger than you thought. All right, so let's talk about how to recognize those imposter habits, because imposter habits are actually things that you've done or continue to do to almost sabotage yourself and get yourself caught up thinking that you're not worthy enough. And I want you to do a self check. And here are a few signs that you might be operating in imposter mode. Let me ask you this. You delay launching something because it's not perfect yet. If that's you, go ahead and put your little raised hand emoji in the comments. You compare your year 1 to someone else's year 10. Oh my gosh, her website is so dope. It got all the colors, and ooh, her IG page has so many wonderful Instagram pictures, and oh, her captions are always on point. Do you know how many times that person had to mess up in order to get it on point? Do you know how long and how many years, how many days, how many weeks that person had to keep doing that, or how many failures they had to overcome in order to get it to that level? You can get there too. You're going to have to work at it though. You can't be so scared that you stay in your shoes when you got to jump over the hurdle. You got to jump. Okay? So let's not compare ourselves, because if you are, then you got to recognize that's one of those imposter habits that you are going to have to kick. Another one that I am so guilty of: you deflect compliments or say, oh, it's nothing, it's no big deal, when it is a big deal. Because everything that you do is not something that everybody else does. And that is the truth. You might think, oh, everybody gets up in the morning and make a bed. No, that's not true. But what could be very true is that there are people who get up and they make their bed, and then their bed doesn't quite look as hotel-esque as yours, right? So there are things that you can do that you do well that might feel first nature to you, but it's not first nature to somebody else. So don't downplay your talents, because if you do, this is an imposter habit that you need to kick. How about you find yourself busy doing everything except the bold thing you know you need to do? You are over here doing social media graphics, you're doing letterhead for letters you don't even mail out, okay? But you're doing all of these other things instead of going live, instead of promoting your offers, instead of reaching out to your your audience. Okay? These are some things that may come up for you as imposter syndrome or imposter habits. But I'm not going to leave you hanging by pointing out your sore spots. I'm going to also offer you a shift. Imposter habits can be replaced with identity habits. Instead of comparison, practice celebration. Instead of perfection, practice progress. Instead of silence, practice sharing your story. Because every small moment of authenticity just chips away at fear. You showing up, being you, and being authentic literally chips away at fear. And so we will look to work at reframing and rethinking these imposter habits so that we can then show up as our best selves wherever we land. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about how faith, fear, and freedom can help you in getting past this imposter syndrome. You can't overcome fear with force, you overcome it with faith, right? Because you have to believe that you can. So that's how you get over fear. I've learned that fear doesn't always leave either. It doesn't. You can still do something afraid. It's not about waiting to feel fearless. It's about learning to move with faith anyway, despite the challenge, despite whatever's going on, despite the fear, because the Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. So the next time you fear, you the next time that fear whispers, who do you think you are? You answer with the truth. I am who God says I am. Yes, you are. Miss Proverbs 31. Break it on down. Faith reminds you that visibility isn't vanity, it's obedience, because you have to go out, right? Is you don't learn and grow and just keep growing. You got to learn, grow, and go. You got to go out there and share. So, in the example that I'm referring to is share the gospel, but it's the same principle. You learn, you grow, and you go. So that if it's so, even if your business with your business, because when you show up, you inspire others to do the same by you being present. And that's what used to get me so mad about back in the day. There used to be, and then maybe somebody feels that today, athletes and who would say, I'm not no role model. I don't want people thinking I'm a role model. Because you're out there, you are a role model. People, and even whether it's positive or negative, if you out there wilding out in these streets and you missed a pro athlete and people like, oh, wearing your jerseys and looking up your pages, following your Instagram and so forth, you are a role model. So when you do whatever you're doing, somebody is watching and they're thinking that they want to be like you too, whether good, bad, or indifferent. So you always want to be in a position to recognize that you are your brand. You are your brand. And you are the one who people are going to be looking at. And we talk about it too in church, that you are a living epistle, right? So people who don't read the Bible will read you and they will judge you by your actions. And then they will determine whether they want to go follow the God that you're following based on what you're doing. You're like, why would I follow this? What kind of God they got that they just get to cut up and do whatever they want to do? Wait a minute, I'm not following that. So when you show up, you inspire others, whether good, bad, or indifferent. So why not just show up and do it in faith so that you're not fearful of what people are going to say? And even if you are, you're still going to go out and do it because you're walking in faith and not in fear. Now, let's go ahead and break it down to some practical ways to face the fear of being seen. I'm going to break it down, give you 3 good ways that you can start overcoming your fear of being seen. Easiest one to identify is to start small and stay consistent. Go ahead and record that video that you've been ducking. Share that story that you didn't want to tell. Host that live and see what kind of interactions you get. Basically, don't wait for perfect. Just start showing up and doing it consistently. Now, let's not put timelines on everything because, oh, I went live for 2 days straight. Nobody showed up. Thank you for your 2 days. The other part of the equation for doing is consistently. Okay? We got to do it consistently. And that's how you will get more and more people to recognize you. That's how you get the algorithm to show you to more people because you're putting out various content more regularly. So start small. Whatever that one thing is, that one step that you can take today, then go ahead and start with that. Then 2. Now, if I got one of my good note takers that want to put them down in the comments for those who have not been able to keep up, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Number 2 is create a visibility routine. For me, my visibility routine is short and sweet. I go live once a week. And that's the visibility routine that I have in person, but also my page has a lot of visibility because we post every single day. And so that's been my visibility. I also do bundles where I get in front of other people's audiences. That's also visibility. And this year I did a summit. I think this might be my 3rd summit actually. So I did a summit, but this time I actually recorded, which I didn't do on the other 2. I recorded a video with my PowerPoint and taught a lesson for a summit. It's just a matter of identifying what your routine is going to be. Maybe you block 15 minutes a day and you say these 15 minutes a day is when I'm going to engage with my audience. So whether that means that you're going to actually comment, whether that means you're going to go live or even just share a tip, consistency is what builds that confidence muscle. We said it's a muscle. And so you got to keep working it. So once you create that visibility routine, and like I said, 15 minutes, that's not a lot a day, but it's to build the muscle. You ain't going to go in there going, oh, I'm going to do 4 hours straight. Yeah. You're not going to the gym on your first day talking about you're going to do 4 hours straight. You're going to pass out and your muscles may not recover the next day. So don't try it. Don't try this at home. But 15 minutes a day, that's between work, lunch break, baby naps, TV time, whatever it is, just 15 minutes. Start small. We said that. Stay consistent and create a routine. Then the last point I want to make about this is to affirm your authority. Stand in it, baby. Stand in it. I want you to write down 5 wins that you've had this year, be it big or small. Let that be your reminder that you are qualified for this. If one of your wins is, I got my first client this year, that's a win. That's a win. Remember that when times get hard. Wait, but if I got a client before, I can do it again. If you got your first 100 subscribers, that's a win. Guess what? If you did it before, you can do it again. So there's nothing wrong with aiming for 200, 500, 1,000. Let me tell you how we just hit 1,000 in Instagram. I was like, get out of here. Yay. That's a win. Don't let me start counting and thinking back. What I need to remember is that's a win, right? Remember, you are qualified for this. You have a skill set. Now, whether you need to hone in on that, grow it some more, build up, you can do that. But it's not the same as juggling and chewing gum, but it's definitely multitasking because you can do what you said you would like to do, what you want to do, how you want to serve, and grow at the same time. Because when you take the leap of faith and just do what you know to do, it's all going to come together. So when we talk about these practical ways, start small, stay consistent, create a visibility routine, and affirm your authority. Stand in it because you are qualified. You are enough. And let me just wrap this up. This week, I want you to do one brave thing. Whatever that one brave thing is, you can even put it in the comments if you want. Share it with us so that we have some accountability. So I want you to do one brave thing, and that puts you in the spotlight. And I know as soon as I said spotlight, you was like, girl, no. Yes. One thing that's going to put you in the spotlight. It could be sharing your face in your stories because we can do faceless. We can. If that's not your thing, then don't pick that. I said one brave thing. You don't have to put your face on your stories or your reels. Or you could pitch your business to a collaboration partner. If you feel like, no, me by myself, I'm not doing it, get you a collab partner. Somebody is going to do just going to do this thing with you and pitch your idea or your business. And finally, an option would be to talk about your offer and do so with confidence. What's that brave thing that you're going to do this week? Put it in the comments. And fear will whisper, what if? But faith will answer, even if. Okay? So let's wrap this up, mamas. You don't need to look like anyone else to be impactful. You don't need a huge following to be valuable. And you definitely don't need permission to shine. Go ahead, girl. Shine. Oh, you don't need my permission, though. The next level of your business isn't waiting for a new strategy. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for a braver you. a bolder you, an authentic you. And if today's episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear what you experience. Share it with another mompreneur who's ready to stop hiding. And if you want help building your confidence and systems together, come on in and check us out here over at the Digimompreneur Academy, where we turn clarity into confidence and strategy into sales, baby. Come on and join the Digimompreneur Academy, because we are helping moms who are determined to find time, money, and location freedom to start, grow, and scale their online businesses so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. And we do that through content, through coaching, through community, and of course, through the Digimompreneur Academy. So I want you to keep showing up, keep shining, and remember, there's no imposter in you. There's just impact waiting to be unleashed. Until next time.